Well, have you ever tried to watch a tree grow? It's not the most exciting way to spend a day, but that's what's happening today in our 40-day adventure through the life of Abraham. And we're on day 2 right now. We're watching a tree grow, and it's a family tree. All right, I got my reading guide open, looking at Genesis 11, 10 through 26. It's right here ready for you to read. And so I'm going to encourage you right here, if you haven't already done so, go ahead, get your highlighters ready, get your green, yellows, and reds, and then hit pause on this video. If you haven't already read and reacted to today's reading, do it, hit pause. We'll come back. I'll show you my reactions. We'll talk about them a little bit. Okay, so do it, hit pause, do it. Go ahead. All right, I'm trusting that you did it. So with that, now that you've got your highlights, I'm going to show you mine too. Let's take a look here. Genesis 11, 10 through 26. This is a big list of names, but it's coming in as a contrast to what we saw yesterday with Babel, right? Remember, the people at Babel wanted to make a name for themselves. They wanted to be remembered. They wanted to leave a legacy. Well, today we're seeing that same exact desire play out in a very different way as we see a family that is building their legacy. The family tree is growing. All right, so with that, let's take a look at the highlights. Let me show you my red, green, yellow, red. Green means I love it. Yellow means it's puzzling to me. And red means this bothers me. It's not irreverent to let something in that the Bible's trying to say bother you a little bit. In fact, it's respectful to react to the Bible. That means you're reading it and you care about it. And for me, all right, I'm going to be honest with you. If I pull out my red highlighter, where's my red highlight for today? I am literally circling the entire thing. Red. See, I told you, I'll be honest with you. You got to be honest with me, and I'll be honest with you. This whole thing, if my first glance, my first reaction is, okay, why is this here? This is a list of names. It doesn't really speak to me. It doesn't mean anything to me. What is it here? Why? I want to see Abraham, want to see his life. What are we doing here? I'm not getting any inspiration or help or anything from this. Like, what the heck? All right, let's be honest. All right, and that's an okay reaction. But when I have a reaction like that, I got to remind myself, all right, that little blister that's forming and a little frustration bubbling up is a signal that I need to step back and approach this a little bit differently. All right. Instead of starting from a place where I ask myself, what does the Bible say to me? What does this say to me today? I need to step back and ask, hey, what is the Bible trying to say? All right. And then get curious about it. All right. What's this doing here? Why is this even here? It's this, again, this simple, quiet list. It's a contrast to the noisy, construction going on at Babel. It was so impressive and amazing, but it was unfinished because while they were trying to build a city and a tower to counter God's plans, we've got a family here. Shem and his descendants are building a tree, and it's not much to watch day by day, but what do they say about building, planting a tree? You always wish you would have done it sooner, right? And then they're doing that. They're building a family tree that's aligned with God's plans. And while the people at Babel are nameless and infamous, they got famous, but for all the wrong reasons. We're seeing some people here listed that they're building a family. It's building a legacy aligned with God's plans, and that's going to make it a lasting legacy. But all the same, all of that, I got to do a little bit of work to get there. I understand that. So, what's this all about? Well, there's my red highlight, right? What are we doing with the list of names? Well, the list of names is here it's showing the storyline that obviously is important for me to see. Now, what about my yellow highlight for today? As I pull this up here, I have my yellow highlight is a bunch of numbers today. Numbers like this one here. All right, and 30 years old. Eber was 34 years old. You know, it's Peleg was 30 years old. Ryu was 32. All right, and I'm curious about all this because, you know, it makes me think, I'm seeing a pattern. Nahor 29. I'm seeing patterns here. And obviously, you know, this rhythm is here on purpose. That's what the point of this whole, you know, family tree here is to show us the family growing and going on into the future. All right, but why the pattern? Why the ages? And then, did you notice there's a break in the pattern near the end of today's reading, near the end of the genealogy? Do you see it right here? Terah, who is the father of Abraham, as we saw here, he was 70 years old when he became the father of Abraham, or as he's called now, Abram. And yeah, that's interesting. All right, I just see that and go, there's something to be thought about there. What's that pattern for? I'm curious about why it's there. And that's giving me some interest as I process today's reading, all right? And then for me, the green, as I pull up my green highlighter here, I also have, my yellow as a little bit of my green highlight today too. As I go right here, I'm highlighting this. Terah was 70 years old. He became the father of Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And by the way, Abram and Abraham are the same guy. Abram's gonna get his name changed a little bit later on. And to me, I see this and now the list kind of makes sense. And now I'm starting to see that this list is going somewhere. There's a rhythm to it, and it's this faithfulness generation after generation. And again, the contrast to Babel that we saw yesterday, I mean, it couldn't be more stark, right? Babel, you had this mass of people determined to build their legacies out of brick and mortar. And then you've got this one quiet family, that's Shem's family, you know, that's quietly building their legacy, not out of brick and mortar, but out of lives. Human lives, monuments to God's faithfulness, generation after generation. The family grows, their story with God builds, they remain faithful, God remains faithful to them, even when it seems kind of quiet and small and simple. To me, I love that. And when I see a list like this list of names, you know, even though at first it's kind of a barrier to me, now that I'm in them and I look at them and I see, first of all, there's Terah waiting a long time for his son, Abram, and then Nahor and Haran. But then I look at this and I think, man, so something in my heart just calls out to me that says, dear God, I want to be a person like this that leaves their legacy, you know. God's building a bridge from now to a future that I can't even see. And I want to scratch my name on that bridge like, you know, graffiti that you see. I want my name on that future as part of it, as God builds something in me and with me for my family and my circle. So I see that God did it for Terah. He gave him Abram, he gave him Nahor and Haran. I see that, and I want to have that kind of life too. I want to be on the list. Not people who built something impressive, brick and mortar, but the list of lives that are monuments to God's enduring faithfulness. Now, what about you? What do you see? What are your green, yellow, and reds? Drop them here in your in your reading guide, rather. And then, hey, scan the QR code, drop them on the thread for this week and add them to our Q&A, our next Q&A coming up, all right? And then once you do that, go ahead and move on in your reading guide. Reflect a little bit, got some bonus stuff there for you, help you dig deeper a little bit. And then once you do that, scan the QR code and we'll jump into one more video from today with a few extra insights and reflections of my own. So dive in and I'll see you in a little bit.